YouTube. Hell yeah, I got going on. I'm gonna be reacting to this pornography ruined my life. I know some of y'all out there struggling with the hub right now. Feel me? It's a more serious video, but let's see what he has to say on this, right? Because I know this is a struggle that a lot of y'all are facing, or something that is not easy. So let's see what my man has to say. Shimon Davis, let's get into it.
Yo, pornography ruined my life at one time.
Damn.
I was actually addicted to pornography. I was introduced to pornography at a very early age. And I am going to be as transparent as possible with you guys because that's how it should be. All this fabrication and faking that people went through things or speaking about things they don't know about, I don't really subscribe to that.
Great intro.
I don't like that. You know what I'm saying? People do all this research and then jump cut and then get on here and talk about stuff they never experienced. I don't subscribe to that. Well, when I was in high school, I think the peak of it was like my 10th grade.
We're also going to be breaking this down from a YouTube perspective because I've been watching this YouTuber literally grow so fast, and his growth has been something to see. And I'm also going to be pointing out some things as to what makes this a great video versus some other videos about similar topics, and some things that stand out to me. So immediately, one of the main reasons that he just captured my attention was saying things that resonate with other creators, right? So for example, he said, I don't do any jump cuts. I don't do any, of this editing. I don't do this research and come back and tell you all this and then not really have lived it or not really went through this experience. And his transparency is what's really standing out to me from the jump. So let's see what else and some other tactics that he uses. Maybe those are not even tactics. Maybe he's just that great of a speaker and that great of a creator where he's getting his message across concisely, directly, and able to capture attention on the topic. But let's also do both, right?
Grade year, I was addicted bad, and it ruined many different aspects of my life. I didn't really have the confidence to talk to girls in person. I didn't really have the mental clarity to focus on things other than lustful activities and lustful thoughts.
Immediately, my nose is sweating. I'm doing all these reactions. Make sure y'all watch my other reactions too, because we finna go crazy. But let's jump right into it. So we see he's pointing out all these reasons, and he's actually very, very, very self-aware. And he's had this self-awareness probably, I'm not sure when he developed it, but I know that he has it now, and I know he's able to look back on this experience that he's had and break it down from a different perspective, from a perspective where he can sit back, right, and view his experience, view what he was going through, view how he was obsessively beating his meat, right, and how he was developing this habit and developing this addiction. So immediately he gets to the root here. He said he didn't have the confidence. He was not talking to any girls. He didn't have the mental clarity. He's naming all these root issues that many of you face and that he even faced, and even people like myself. Not saying I'm separate from you guys, but everyone goes through these things, right? Whether it has to do with pornography or whether it has to do with everyday life, right? These are root issues that we all face, and they affect us in different ways. The coping mechanism is what differentiates us, right? So some people use porn, some people use YouTube, some people use work, some people use cigarettes, some people smoke weed. These are all the different ways that people cope with those root issues that they are facing, like lack of self-confidence, not being able to go out and talk to girls, mental clarity, things like that. So be very aware and think deeper about the things that he is saying, because you can start to see some of the things that you also are lacking or think that you lack in your life that are causing you to use pornography to cope.
Sometimes I would even avoid being around my family just so I could get in the back room and do the deed, and it was disgusting. I felt like a shell of a person I was always disgusted with myself. I always regretted it. And it was just a cheap outlet to just degeneracy. And it felt even worse when you released all these hormones and did all these things, but you were still alone. Um, I didn't have anyone to call mine. I'm young, like, you know what I'm saying? But it was just, it was a disgusting period of time. And it was bad, man.
Keeping it real,
I would go
man.
to school and these girls, certain girls would flirt with me. And I would go on the hub and find someone that looked identical to him.
Hell no. Let's keep it real though. I know you done did that before. If you did that, man, it's okay. I accept you either way, man. But come on, that's crazy. But the reason why this is so raw and the reason why this video has done what it's done is because this is real shit that people are afraid to say. I am grateful that he came on here with this message because a lot of this shit that he's saying, some of y'all could never say. That takes more confidence than any of this, right? To have the discipline to stop, have the discipline and the awareness to know why, and then have the discipline to come on here and spread a message, man. I give it up for my dog. That's real shit, for real. But look, I know y'all did that before. Come on now. Be real with yourself. That's the first step.
Like, you could literally find anything you want on there. It's pretty crazy the access you have on the internet, and it's dangerous. But it got
Access.
bad, man. It was almost like every day I was getting it in. And I noticed a difference in my physical health. Now, I've always been in shape, but I'm
And I want to talk to you about this point that he made about access, right? So, how we develop habits and how we develop addiction is through access to the things that we have access to. For example, I did a reaction on Cam Newton and Krishan Rock where Cam Newton discussed that he was able to, or not able to, that he developed a sex addiction. And the reason why is because he had access to all these different women who were going, right? Because he's an NFL quarterback, because he has all this money, they were going and he was taken, right? So he had access. The same goes for porn, but because it's more accessible, it's easier to develop an addiction, right? You can just search it up right now. You can go to your phone right now and you could just start getting it in, right? You could start getting it in. So that is how addictions form, is the access part. So how you overcome it, and you know they say how you lose her or how you get him is the same way you lose him, right? Or vice versa. How you develop the addiction is the same way you can overcome the addiction, right? You have to limit your access, and you have to continually limit your access over time, and then completely cut off the access. You're not going to stop watching porn. I mean, depends on the type of mentality you have. You're not going to stop watching porn right now after this video, right? But over time, now that you have the awareness, now that you have the message, now that you know it's possible, now you can begin to limit your access to that. So you can put your phone down. You can know why, right? You say, well, I beat my meat at 8 o'clock every day because I'm laying in the bed and I'm bored, right? And I'm going on my For You page, I'm seeing big booty Latinas, I'm seeing all this twerking videos, I'm seeing all this stuff, right? So how you begin to limit that access is see what's causing you to start to do that activity, see what's triggering you, right? And begin to limit access to those triggers. And over time of you continually limiting that access, then you can then completely stop, right? But you'll see in this video too, and we both will see how he's been able to overcome it by limiting that access, right? Over time. This does not take one day. You will not beat your pornography addiction today if you do not have the awareness that you have a pornography addiction to start with.
I'm telling you, bro, I used to work out so much, but I would also release so much. My gains never change. Now, yes, I made some increases, and I was growing too as a young male. But when I stopped, bro, I didn't have to work out nearly as much and retain muscle and all this stuff. But it got to the point where I was just so disgusted with myself. And I stumbled on a video. I wish I could remember so I could shout out to whoever it was. But I seen the concept of semen retention. And then I heard something about Mike Tyson doing it and this and that. So I wanted to try it out. 2 days went by, I relapsed. I went like a day after that, relapsed again. Then after that, I went a week, relapsed again. After that, I went like 2 weeks without releasing, and I relapsed again. And then after that, I went on a 8-month stretch without releasing. And when I did, it was not, with my hand.
My dog.
And man, in that period of time, people look. It's not a
Like before he gets into this, I just want to reiterate my point about limiting access, and that the first day you have the awareness is not the day, most likely, that you will beat that addiction, right? But now this awareness and what you do and that choice that you choose is the important piece, and why he was able to do it and why you probably stopped but keep going, right? So what did he continue to do? He kept trying and kept doing the action of limiting the access. He kept going, right? Once he relapsed, he didn't just say, "All right, I'm gonna just keep going. Fuck it. I'm not strong enough to do this challenge. I'm not strong enough to not beat my meat." He kept attempting to go on this journey, and the concept of semen retention is something that is a little bit not my lane. I'll touch on it, but it's not my lane at all. So if you're looking for some type of red pill semen retention content, this is not the channel for you, right? So go ahead, click off the video, twin. But what I will tell you about semen retention is it's all about discipline, right? I'm not gonna tell another grown man what to do with his dick now. But what I will tell a young man to do right now is I will tell a young man that if you are able to control the one thing that has the ability to take you off your path, right? Think of all the people and all the stories that you probably have heard of how a nigga dick done ruined his life. Amen. Think of how many people in your neighborhood who had a kid with a girl who wasn't shit, or who fought and died over a girl who wasn't shit, or and men could be not shit too. So same goes for both genders. Think of the men who you have been with who ain't shit, but because of the you feel me? You stayed. So if you can control your desires and control yourself, that is what gives you the strength to do all these other things, right? I believe that concept and that challenge is more so for people to develop more of the ability to control themselves, right? And not be controlled by lust or controlled by their desires. And that's the most important piece that will help you in your life. But all the other shit like that they be preaching, that's not me, bro. So you're gonna have to don't subscribe if that's what you want.
And man, in that period of time, people look. It's not a superpower to retain and all this stuff. It eventually it can be, but it's not gonna make you glow. It's not gonna. It's the byproduct of doing those things.
The byproduct.
Yourself. That's what I like to call it.
There we go, twin.
When you conquer yourself, you conquer your lust. When you conquer your desires, that's what makes you glow. That energy that's what's inside of you. You know what I'm saying? People not just gonna walk up. You're retaining. Maybe now since it's such a talked about theme, but they gonna be like, man, that's just something about you, man, or you know what I'm saying? Even if they don't, you feel better about yourself when you learn to control your desires and not dig into that life. But over the course of those 8 months, especially after that first few weeks and the first months and stuff, those desires started to lessen, right? And I began to conquer myself. And instead of being so bored and staying up to 3 o'clock at night and, finding an activity to help me out, I start filling my time in with more meaningful things. Even just playing the game sometimes. I just filled in that space. Get so busy to where you don't have time to be distracted, to where you don't have time to touch it. You know what I mean? When you get tired, lay down. Put the phone.
So you see, this is the access part, right? Going back to access. You limit access, but with all that additional time, what are you now going to do to replace that bad habit with something more positive, right? And that's up to you. You can distract yourself with other bad things, or you can distract yourself with positive things that push you forward. You could start a new business instead of beating your meat. You could jump on, do something positive like do your homework every time. You could do push-ups every time you feel that, right? Get yourself in shape, work out, use that energy in other ways that don't distract you from your path or distract you from purpose or keep you on that habit, right?
Away. But over the course of those 8 months, I felt like a superhero. One of the things that helped me out was deleting the distractions. It's hard to get distracted if there's no distractions. Any girls I would see that was half naked on Snapchat or Instagram, I would unfollow them, delete them. And still to this day, I have accounts that were on my social medias that I didn't even know how they got there. Some people buy out meme accounts and turn them into explicit content pages because they know they trap a lot of vulnerable minds. And I've had relationship issues about this thing. I'm like, look, I've been in that place before. I'm not going back there. So you're not going to tell me that I'm some lustful human being and I'm conquered by lust abound the earth, because I was that at one point in time. And I hated that. I was disgusted by that. And I took the shadowy path to go conquer myself and go through that. Right? So I'm not lying to you by telling you I don't indulge in these things. I'm being truthful. I was disgusted. I hated myself for those things. You understand what I'm saying? It was disgusting. Disgusting. To me. And I hated it, so I decided to make a change. And like I said, over the course of those months, it was just, bro, life-changing. I gained more confidence. In that time, I actually created an alternate ego called HBK Mon that had confidence. He had conversation skills. He was able to talk to girls, and, you know, he stopped touching himself and all this stuff.
I like where he's going with this. This is starting to align our communities together. So what I'm seeing is not only was he aware with himself, not only did he get to the root of his issues, which were confidence, limited connection, no real ability to go out and talk to girls and approach women and make these connections that he desired, that he was getting fulfilled through porn. He began to understand how he was going to beat that addiction, and how he did that was becoming the version of himself that had already beat it and had all these things that he wanted to have, right? So, for example, he wanted to have confidence. He wanted to go out and talk to girls. So what did he do? He developed a sense and a different version of himself, which is something that you could do also. Or you could just write these things down and write them down as if you've already done them, if you already become this person, and then take the steps towards becoming that person, right? But what he did was he created an alter ego who had all these characteristics that he wanted to have, and then what did he do? He started to fake it till he made it, right? And which is not a bad thing, which is what you can do too. But the way that I do it and the way that we both align on this topic is that we both know to become someone that you've never become, you have to do things that you've never done, right? So you have to take steps towards becoming that different version. And first you have to know who you are. You have to know that you lack confidence. You have to know that you lack this, that, and the third, lack love, that you're feeling this addiction with these things that you lack, right? So let's make sure that when we are watching this video, we are not only watching it for the content and we're not only watching it for the awareness, but we're also thinking about the things that we lack, right? The things that we want to cover up, the things that we want to hide, the things that are scary to us, the things that we don't want to admit, the things that you feel like people would laugh at you for, or that, you know, you want to hide from yourself. You want to look at those things, have that awareness, and then develop that characteristics or develop that person and those characteristics that that person has to then get there, right? So let's look at how he developed this alter ego. And that is the main point that I want you to focus on, how he developed this alter ego of himself and how he actually took actionable steps to get to that version of himself.
If I'm going to release, it ain't going to be by me. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm just telling myself all these little things.
Telling yourself,
all these
right?
Nuances and
creating nuances.
It actually worked. And it got to the point where I truly just stopped desiring any of that, right? Now, what you can run into is when you stop, the desires may come, you know, more intense.
Mm-hmm.
The pleasure in doing, you know, the real thing, the real deed, it becomes more pleasurable. But you just have to find a balance, man. Eliminate those distractions. Just resist it, man. Choose not to do it. A lot of us get addicted and we think it's no way out and we think it's too hard to quit all these things, but the easiest part is just deciding not to quit, or the hardest part is deciding not to quit or deciding to quit. If you're addicted, decide to not be addicted. Decide to quit drugs. Decide to quit porn. That's what you need to do. But instead we go, man, I just can't, man. It's like I'm too You know, I'm too deep in. I can't stop now. You have to change your mindset. Become my philosophy in life, or one of them, is become disgusted in what's not good for you. If that's keeping around people, if that's watching pornography, if that's doing this, doing that, become.
Not only did he know who he wanted to become, but he also knew what he did not want to become. And all that is awareness. He was disgusted, you know.
I'm
He hated
disgusted in it,
himself. He hated that
right?
version.
When your mom try to give you that nasty medicine, what you do? Nasty. That's how it should be for your life, right? Porn, following all these girls, DMing all these girls, just caving into this lust. We scrolling on TikTok. They got accounts, bro. It's insane. They literally are manipulating the male mind. It's nothing wrong with looking at a girl. It's nothing wrong with being attracted to a girl. But what the problem is you're allowing your natural ability, your natural instinct to be taken over and used against you. Like, you're not supposed to be horny all the time. You're not supposed to be, you know what I'm saying, this big ball of horniness all the time. But social media is overly saturated with women who are chiseled by the gods themselves. You have to choose to remove yourself from that. You have to choose to stop liking those videos and start training your algorithms to show you things that matter. Scrolling on social media and all this stuff is already bad enough, but you're going to just add fuel to the fire. That's why it takes accountability. I know the title may be misleading, Pornography Ruined My Life, but I ruined my life through pornography. I ruined my life through lust. I chose to change.
That's it right there. This man, he has a high level of self-awareness, bro. I give you a lot of credit for taking that journey, doing that shadowy work, as he said, and truly learning about yourself and about all those things that were keeping you in that position where you used pornography to cope. But now that he had that awareness, and now that he was actually able to take steps towards choosing differently, what is going to be the thing that you do to get to that root of the issue and to choose differently, right? As you can see, it's possible to choose differently. As you can see, it's not out of the ordinary for you to choose differently, and that this addiction can be broken, right? So what are you going to do, and what's going to be your deciding factor to actually take that step towards that goal of becoming who you want to become and towards breaking that bad habit and that addiction? What are you going to have to do in your mind first to wrap your mind around who you are now and around what is causing you to do this? And then how are you going to break this, right? Start to think about that now for the rest of this video. How are you going to break out of your current mindset, change it, and then move forward from a place of understanding yourself, accepting yourself, and then knowing that this is possible, knowing and choosing differently.
Right? I'm no longer addicted. Like I said, I've been out of high school for X amount of years, right? I'm 20, by the way. But it was like my freshman and sophomore year, I was heavily addicted to that stuff, and I quit. And I would advocate to my friends and, you know, people I was close to or came across, like, yo, you ever, you know what I'm saying, you have any problems with this? And I would advocate for it and try to help people because I know what it did for me. And I noticed when I see dudes are not confident, and I had to get one off, and it's like, yo, it's more to life, bro. It's more to life. Now, what I will advocate on, I would much rather you, do it yourself than you go make a crazy decision and go touch something that you wouldn't touch with a 10-foot pole, or to go touch something that may leave you with, a STD, a sexual transmitted disease, or a sexually transmitted demon. I would much rather you do that. That's where balance comes. I'm not gonna ever advocate for watching porn. Touching yourself is kind of iffy when it comes to balance, because sometimes it's best to get things released, but there should always be a balance in everything you do.
Absolutely. And do you know that it's possible for you to, without watching porn? You don't have to do that. Listen, your mind is the most powerful thing in this existence, right? You create your reality. Everything that you see in front of your mind is creating that illusion for you. So the battery dies.
You
But
understand
I'm
what
gonna
I'm
finish
saying?
off this reaction. What
But
I
the
was saying was we only got 2 minutes left in this video or a minute left. The camera just died. But what I'm saying is, look, you can do that, man. But what you don't want to do is imagine some porn, my G. That's what you're not gonna do. Okay? Now let's keep going. Let's finish this video off.
journey with semen retention, maybe it is unbalanced because you have so many things you have to break away from. You have to just shut down and go celibate. Celibate is not some type of goal, it's a lifestyle. So you can't really dig in and out. You have to go and turn this thing into a lifestyle, quitting until you can reap those benefits, and then you can control the flow of whatever. But I probably went all over the world to make this video, but I just wanted to help somebody out, man. Let you know, man. If you're addicted, man, just realize that you're addicted. Don't deny it. And just embracing your mind that you want to quit and you will. Don't talk about how hard it is. Just quit, bro. Go cold turkey. Go cold turkey. Resist it. Block it on your phone. Do something. Put your phone down at night. I don't know. But
those are all great ways.
you're not alone, man. And it's a way out. It can really mess up your mind. It can mess up relationships and things like that. But if it's
All right, let's end it off by just my final thoughts. Why this is such a popular video and why I believe that it's doing what it's doing is because not only is this a struggle that a lot of people are facing currently, but also the way that he broke it down, how transparent he was, how understanding he was, how he was able to actually tell you the reasons why and the things that were stopping him is my perception of why this video has done so well. And I want you guys to definitely go and subscribe for more information on how you can, stop watching porn and beat addiction. But also, I want you to subscribe to this channel too, because not only is he going to tell you how he did it, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you why you are doing it. I'm not going to tell you. You're going to tell yourself, right? You're going to do the work for yourself. But I'm going to guide you to that why and the reasons why you are using pornography to cope, right? And how I'm going to do that is by having a one-on-one conversation with you. Go ahead in the bio and sign up for your one-on-one consultation if you are ready. If you are not ready, don't waste my time, because I'm not going to sit down with people who are not ready to actually face themselves. I'm not going to sit down with people who are going to waste my time. I'm not going to sit down with people who aren't ready to take accountability and to actually see themselves for who they truly are, right? I'm not sitting down with any of those people. If you are not one of those people and you are ready, go to the link in the bio.